Hello, welcome to the Student Learning Center. My name is Baylet and I'm a peer tutor. Today I'm going to be showing you the basics of setting up a Autodesk Maya project file hierarchy and how that works within your computer, especially for setting up a new file. So what we're going to start with today is I have just opened up Maya and I want to assert that what you want to do when you are opening up Maya is you always want to open up Maya directly from the .exe link. You don't want to ever open up Maya from your project folder. And I'll explain why that is in a little bit. So this is a completely blank Maya file. I've just opened up Autodesk Maya 2023. I haven't done anything to it yet. And it is currently not set in a project folder yet. So first we're going to talk about how to do that. So when you're starting a new project, what you want to do is you want to go to File, and underneath Project, down here, we're going to have Project Window and Set Project. Set Project is for opening up a project that you have already made, and the Project Window is for setting up new projects. So the way we're going to start this is just by setting up a new project. We're going to click Project Window. We're going to go to New, right here, and we are going to name our project in Current Project. And I want you to notice that the location for this, the default location, is going to be the C drive, user, your name, the documents file on your computer, Maya, projects. But these are all the files that are going to be made when we make our new project. And we are just going to hit accept right here. And it doesn't seem like we've done anything yet, but I'm going to show you how to go and make sure that that file was created where it needed to be. So we're going to open up the File Explorer on our computer. Then we are going to go to Documents. And this is where all of our software files are usually being held. All of the extra data that is being saved goes here. Right here we see Maya. We're going to click on Maya. And then under Projects, we should see that new project demo that we just created. We're going to open that up. And this, you see, is all of those names that we saw for those file folders that it said it was going to make when we accepted it. So, file has been made, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the scene that we are currently using right now is set to that folder. So, what we have to do is we have to go to File, Set Project, click on the new project demo. We don't want to double click, we just want to singularly click, and go to Set. So now, when I go to, let's just make a quick cube here. So now when I go to File, Save Scene As, you'll notice that it is automatically saving to the Scenes folder in the new project that we just created, in Projects, under Maya, in the Documents folder, on the C drive of our computer. So we have to make a scene to save within this folder. Right now we're just going to call this Demo. And here we can choose whether we save this as a Maya ASCII file or a Maya binary file, otherwise known as .mb or .ma. Now you might be asking what the difference is between these two file types, and really the short answer is that the Maya binary file is a compressed file and the Maya ASCII file is not. So Maya ASCII files are a lot bigger because they're not compressed, but they're also written in programming code that you can access manually and edit, whereas you cannot do that with Maya binary. It is also said that the Maya ASCII files are easier to recover in the event of a data corruption, which I believe, and even though the Maya ASCII files are bigger, I usually tend to prefer to go for a Maya ASCII file. But that's the difference between the two. So we're going to save. So now this scene, this demo scene, we're going to open this guy back up. Remember, go to Documents, Maya, Projects, the project that you need, and this is going to go to Scenes. So this is now this file. And I want to reiterate that you always want to be saving to a project file. Every time you make a new Maya scene, every time you make a new Maya project, you want to be saving it to a Scenes file in a project file under Maya in Documents on your computer. And I do want to restate what I said earlier, where you do not want to just open up this file. Like if we were to double click on this right now, it's going to open up a new Maya. Now there it is, we can see it, but the difference is that if I open it up from the project file instead of opening up Maya first and then setting it to the project file, what happens is that maybe we start working on this, maybe we start like adding things and extruding things and moving things, right? And we don't even realize that we are not in the correct scenes file. Because you'll notice that this is a scenes file, but this is actually a scenes file under default instead of the project that we want it to be under, the project it was saved under. So you always want to open up Maya first, set the project, and then you want to go to File, Open Scene, and that's going to bring you back to the directory specifically for what you set the file as. So you'll see here, Scenes, New Demo Project, Projects, Maya, Documents in our computer. And from here, we can click on the file and hit Open. And it doesn't look like anything changed, but we did just open this file, and now when we go to File, Save As, you'll see that it's saving to the proper spot. Now the only other thing that I kind of want to talk about in this demo is just how all of these folders work. So I'm going to open this up real quick, and I'm going to show you the folders that are inside this file that we created, right? We have assets, autosave, cache, clips, data, images, movies, render data, scene assembly, scenes, script, sound, source images, and the time editor. Some of the most important folders in here for you to remember are going to be the source images folder, the scenes folder, the movies folder, and the images folder. And I'm going to demonstrate why that is right now. Okay, so I think it's already pretty self-explanatory why the scenes folder is important. We kind of just spent the whole time going over why the scenes folder is important. That is where your scenes are saved. But otherwise, I'm just going to kind of go from the bottom up, and we're going to start with the source images folder. Now you'll notice that currently nothing is in the source images folder. So I'm going to change that real quick by just dragging this royalty-free image of a kitten that I found on the internet into this folder. And we're just going to rename it so that it's not quite such a strange name. There we go, kitty.jpg. Okay, so the reason the source images folder is important is because we can take images that we make and we can put them in the source images folder so that when we try to pull anything into our scene, we are pulling it directly from the directory, like from the hierarchy that we've already set up. So, real quick, here's that cube that we made earlier. I'm just going to click on it real quick, and I'm going to switch this over to modeling. And I'm going to open up the UV editor. Cubes have a basic UV already set on them, so this is the basic UV that's already been set on this cube. Cool. So, because I opened the UV editor, now you can see the lines of the UV and how that works. Now, let's say that I want to put a material on this cube. So, I don't want to just add a color. I want to add an image material to this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on it, go down to Assign New Material, let go of right-click. That's going to open up this. I'm going to make this an AI standard surface. I'm going to open up the material by going to this right here. It says AI standard surface 1. We're going to rename it kitty.mat, M-A-T for material, or M-A in some cases. Just depends on what your preferred naming conventions are. And now I'm going to go to Color. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to File. Then we're going to go back over here. We're going to click on this file folder. And you'll see now that we've opened this up, and because we set our project, it's going to directly take us to the source images folder inside of our project folder. So I'm going to click on Kitty, going to open it, and you'll see that it's popping up here, so it is active. So you might be wondering, hey, why can't I see anything? Why is my cube here, even though despite the fact that the material is definitely active, you can tell that it's active right here, right? So there's two things for that. Thing number one is that if you are in a certain display mode, make sure that you tap 6 on your keyboard, and that is going to make sure that you can see textures in your viewport. That can also be toggled on and off with this guy right here. You want to make sure that this is turned off, that this is on, and this is on. Okay. So here we go. Now we have our kitty cube. And that is why the source images folder is important, so that we can drag materials into here. Another way we can see this is in the UV editor. You can tell when we, click on the object. There we go. You'll see here that this is just the standard UV grid, but if we were to turn this off, you'll see that is our kitten, and this is where our kitten overlaps with our box here. So if we wanted our kitten to fill more of the box, I'm just going to grab this UV shell real quick, and I'm just going to pull it over so our kitten is more on the box. Not that it really matters, but, you know. Now I'm going to close this. And that's how the source images folder works. Now that we've covered scenes and source images, the next thing that we're actually going to cover is movies and images. We're going to start with movies, and once again you'll notice currently this file is completely empty, and we're going to close this down. So here we go. Here's our little cat box, right? I'm really quickly just going to make a very basic little animation for our little cat box here, just in the perspective viewer. I'm going to take this guy, we're going to put him like over here. On my timeline, I'm going to hit S to set a keyframe, and then I'm going to pull him over here, and I'm going to go to, oops, and I'm going to set our frame to like, let's say 20, and then I'm going to pull you back over here because you moved on me, and I'm going to hit S again, and now we have a little set of keyframes here. I'm going to pull this guy so that we only have the keyframes that we made, and you'll see we get this nice little ease in, ease out animation of this guy moving across our screen. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so now I'm just going to create a play blast real quick. Play blast, click here. Make sure that you have this save to file turned on. I'm going to call this movie demo 1. Going to hit play blast, and you'll see that it shows us this little preview of what we've just play blasted for our little animation. Going to close that, and now I'm just going to open up our file folder. We're going to go to movies, and you'll see there's our play blast. So that's what the movies folder is for. It's for saving out short clips that we take within the viewport in Maya. And then finally, we have the images folder, not to be confused with the source images folder. You will notice that this is also empty. So for this, since we're using Arnold, this is going to be a little bit more interesting. I'm going to take all of the keyframes off of this. Delete. Cool. And I'm just going to move this guy so that we see the kitten's face because I think it's cute. Cool. Now, real quick, I'm just going to bring in some very basic lighting. I'm gonna zoom in on our kitten here a little bit. Pull this bad boy over, and you'll see that now we can see the box of our kitten here. I'm actually going to zoom us in a little bit closer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very quick render. So first I'm going to make sure that you are off, get rid of you. I'm going to switch this to rendering, going to go to render, going to go to render settings, double check and make sure that I want this as a JPEG. Sequence. That was a very nice and fast render. And then we're just going to File, Save Image, Kitty, Box. Going to save this as a JPEG. Hit Save. Close this, and now when I open this guy up you will see that we have an image from our render saved to the images folder of the new project that we created. Any images that we take or render are going to go into this images folder. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this was helpful for some of you, and if you ever need more help, feel free to reach out to the Student Learning Center. Bye!